I've been teasing this build for a while now, and I know there are probably lots of people out there who have conjured up similar things, but I wanted to show you exactly what I've been running in Endgame PVE in the past month or so. This is the build I'm using in Grandmaster Nightfalls, Master Raids, and Challenge completions for the Raid Seal. I'm using it in Master difficulty solo lost sectors. Bottom line is this build keeps me alive always. I literally have to try to die regardless of the difficulty. So just know that I'm going to be showing mostly Master difficulty stuff in the background gameplay, including Master Lost Sectors and Master Raid encounters like Verity, where I think the build really has a chance to shine simply because you have to be able to solo a room full of adds on Master difficulty, including Knights and Zubats that suppress you, as well as soloing unstoppable Ogre champions as well. So hopefully that serves as solid evidence that this build goes hard in PvE. But before we start picking the build apart, let me take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. Yeah, and speaking of builds, building out the perfect, tasty, and nutritious meal can be just as complicated sometimes. Like, listen, life is heckin' busy. We work full-time jobs, we like to get out of the house and go enjoy the lakes and the hiking trails in West Michigan with our kids, plus we enjoy gaming with friends in the evenings. Meal planning and prepping can be a real pain, and it cuts into all the things that we want to do, and that's where HelloFresh, the #1 meal box in America, comes in. Sideline meal planning and check out HelloFresh's biggest menu yet, including more than 50 recipes for amazing entrees of different styles and origins. Plus, when you sign up for HelloFresh, you get free appetizers for life. That's literally a lifesaver right there, because my wife and I are always struggling to decide on what dishes to serve alongside or before dinner. But HelloFresh's new deal gets you 1 free appetizer per box as long as you have an active subscription. HelloFresh makes it easy. You just pick what sounds good and when you want it, and they'll deliver it right to your door with everything you need to prepare the meal you want. They pre-portion everything to your household size too, so you can avoid the all too common question of how much pasta is enough for my family, and then you inevitably end up with enough to feed a small country. Their recipes have everything covered too. If you love pasta, stir fries, Caribbean style, whatever you like, you'll find something for you. If you want meals that fit your fitness lifestyle, you're covered. On a diet, trying to keep the calories to a minimum, they've got you covered. My wife and I actually relied on HelloFresh when our second kid was born because we already had a toddler. My wife had limited maternity leave, and in the chaos of that life, HelloFresh helped cut out the stress of meal planning for our family, so we had one less thing to worry about. So go ahead and click the link in the description and pinned comment, or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free appetizers for life. 1 appetizer item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. All right, let's get back to Destiny. Okay, so let's chat about this build. First and foremost, it's a Prismatic Warlock build, if you haven't gathered that yet. Let me outline the basic philosophy, and then we'll parse down every moving part of the build in detail. Essentially, what we're doing here is using the Getaway Artist exotic gauntlets to go into every encounter with an arc turret over our shoulder that does big damage to rank and file opponents. I'm coupling that with a second turret, the Helion solar turret, that launches solar mortar strikes at enemies as well. So between those turrets, we're going to be easily chewing through groups of enemies, even the ones I'm not actively targeting. We're playing as the summoner role that a lot of fantasy games offer, and our summons will be doing a lot of the legwork while we focus on raid mechanics that we need to execute and focus on larger high priority targets as well. But the goal is to start the Devour chain rolling by allowing either of those turrets to get a final blow on something small. Once they do, we are free to kill with anything in our arsenal at all to refresh Devour. If you aren't familiar with Devour, it immediately restores all of your health and shields when you get any kill of any kind. So that's why I laugh at things like Heal Clip. Great perk, don't get me wrong, but as a Warlock, I can get way more health immediately and endlessly with any kill at all. The idea is to be keeping our foot on the gas pedal pushed all the way to the floor until the encounter is over. Never back off, never pull out of a fight, never run away to get health back. Keep those buffs rolling. And there are a number of ways that we keep our ability uptime basically at 100% at all times. We are never without an ability in play. They feed one another and they keep each other cooled down so that we never have to worry about being overextended with no means of reactivating Devour. We're also going to be creating a lot of orbs of light. Those orbs are going to serve us in a myriad of different ways, which I'll get to in just a moment. And we're going to have all champions covered if we need it. We've got Unstoppable Sidearm and Ignitions on command for Unstops. We've got Jolt on command for Overloads. And we've got a primary weapon slot that I'm often swapping to Outbreak for better barrier champions, but otherwise I'm using Kvastov when no barriers are present. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty here, and I'll be sure to include a dim link to my build as well in the description and pinned comment for you. All right, let's start with the full prismatic kit and what we're running here. First and foremost, we're rocking Phoenix Dive because it gives us health on command very quickly, and it has a very short cooldown. It's a nice fast way to get a bunch of health right up front while we're on the move without having to stop and place a rift. It's also going to queue up the Helion turret, which we'll get to in a second. Running Burst Glide, of course, for extra speed when I need it. The Incinerator Snap, because one snap on top of one Helion turret strike will give us an ignition so we can make a big boom when needed. And of course, since we're running the Getaway Artist, we're running the Storm Grenade as well so that we can consume the grenade to queue up the turret. Of course, like I said, rocking the Helion turrets, we have the Mortar Strikes over our shoulders, which do pretty good single target damage as well. We've got Feed the Void. This is a big part of it. Like I said, we want Devour constantly. It's going to give us health, and it's going to restore our grenade charge almost instantaneously as we're running around killing things, refreshing Devour. We get that grenade energy back lightning quick. First up in the fragment section, we have Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While Transcendent, the effect is increased. Also gives a general plus 10 buff to your strength stat. Now, as you can see in the gameplay here, I am basically throwing myself into the middle of the fray in the highest difficulty we can possibly have in Destiny 2, and I'm fine because of all the different things I have stacked on top of each other to give me survivability. We literally never die. So I'm always surrounded by combatants, so Facet of Protection is basically always activated. Next up is Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. Now, the Helion turret, I want it cooled down as much as possible so that I can get my Phoenix Dive for health on command whenever I need it, and I can reactivate the Helion turret whenever I need it as well. So I need to be getting class ability energy back as quickly as possible. So Facet of Hope is going to always be active because it's active when I have either Devour or if I'm amplified. We have both of those things, basically 100% uptime with this build. Because of the arc turrets over our shoulders, we're getting amplified constantly, and every time we get an ability kill, it's refreshing Devour, or activating Devour, I should say, and then any other kill on top of that is going to refresh Devour. So we constantly have light buffs active, so we're getting class ability energy back more quickly. Next up is Facet of Defiance. Finishers create a detonation that either jolts, scorches, slows, severs, or makes targets volatile based on the damage type of your equipped super. Now we're running the Nova Bomb. It's very versatile. It does really big single target damage. I can throw it at bosses, champions, whatever I need. So this is going to give me a general plus 10 bonus to my recovery stat, but it's also going to make enemies volatile in this giant explosion whenever I do a finisher. Definitely helpful to have when we are clearing rank and file combatants. Next up is Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power grants either Amplified or Restoration Frost, Woven Mail, Overshield. Based on the damage type of your super, our super, again, is Nova Bomb. So we're getting a little penalty to recovery for this. Not a big deal, because now we are getting Overshields whenever we pick up Orbs of Power, and we're making lots of orbs, which I'll get to when we cover the weapons. And finally, the Facet of Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. So this is how we're getting Ionic Traces a bunch. These Ionic Traces are seeking us out, and that's going to give us ability energy. Perfect. We want ability uptime at 100%, so that is going to help. Also, we get a plus 10 to resilience for that for free as well. Always nice to have extra resilience. And as noted earlier, Nova Bomb is what we're rolling in the super department. Now let's talk about our gear that we have equipped. So we'll just go from the top down in the armor department. Starting with our helmet, I'm running Arc Siphon because I'm going to be doing a lot of arc weapon final blows. It's going to be creating orbs of power for us. And I'm running a special ammo finder because I want as much special ammo as possible. Next up, of course, running the Getaway Artist is a big part of our build. Convert your arc grenade into arc souls. So it has to be an arc grenade. That's why we have the storm grenade equipped. And I'm running double arc loader mods because I want to be able to reload my weapon very quickly because it has Volt Shot on it. Big part of what we're doing here. On the chest piece, we're running some solar resistance because there is a lot of solar damage in the raid. I'm also running a harmonic resistance because it only costs 1 energy. Other than that, I'm rocking Font of Endurance. Collecting an Orb of Power causes you to gain 1 temporary armor charge. You gain a bonus to Resilience while you have any armor charge, and your armor charge now decays over time, which is why we're running Time Dilation on the boots. We basically want to have constant, 100 Resilience uptime without actually having Tier 10 Resilience. Now on my boots, I'm running Recuperation and Better already, so that when I run over Orbs of Power, it's just another layer of our survivability, another way of getting health immediately on command all the time. We basically want to have tons of options so that we're never finding ourselves in a position where we're like, oh crap, I'm gonna die. I'm also leaving room for 1 Surge mod. This can change. Whatever my heavy weapon is, that's what Surge mod is gonna go in there. So if I'm doing boss damage with a Void Sword, then I'm going to have Void Weapon Surge here. If I'm using a Void Grenade Launcher, I've got Void Surge on. But basically, just cycle out whatever heavy weapon that you have equipped for dealing with the bigger combatants in the encounters. And lastly, on the Bond, I'm running Time Dilation so I can get as much time as possible on my armor charge stacks. And then I'm running double bombers so that anytime I use my Phoenix Dive, I'm generating ability energy for my grenade. Moving on to the weapons. First and foremost, I'm running the Kvastov, but usually I have 2 weapons here that I'm cycling, as I need it. So usually it's Kvastov, but if there happens to be any barrier champions, then it's going to be the Outbreak Perfected. Kvastov is phenomenal for rank and file combatants. It's chaining damage between all of them as it's ricocheting the bullets, but it also has Shoot to Loot, which is really helpful in PvE encounters. If I see a brick somewhere across the battlefield, I can just aim at it, shoot it, pick it up. Same thing with an Orb of Power. Let me get that recuperation right now when I need it. If I see an Orb of Power, scope in, take the shot, easy peasy. Shoot to Loot, super nice to have. And then this is our workhorse. This is what's going to be doing most of the work for us in these encounters. It is the legendary rocket sidearm, the Indebted Kindness. You can farm this thing right now, get a couple of buddies, go to LFG, whatever you got to do, just to get a group together, because there's a lot of people out there that want a good Indebted Kindness. This thing is, in my opinion, is better than any other rocket sidearm in the game because of what it is capable of doing and the way that it can be so versatile and drag and drop into any build that you've got going, whether you're Prismatic, Arc Solar, whatever it may be. But my Indebted Kindness has a lead from gold. This is something that the new Solar Rocket sidearm does not have access to. Lead from gold is going to be a big part of our ammo economy anytime we pick up heavy bricks. And a lot of times, if I am full on heavy ammo, but I'm low on special ammo and I see a heavy brick, I'll just pull out my heavy and just shoot it into the air. Like, I don't even care. If it hits anything, no big deal. I'll just take a shot and then switch back to the Indebted Kindness, walk over the brick, and even though I got just one ammo for heavy, this is getting me a bunch of ammo back for the Indebted Kindness, which is a huge part of what we're doing, because we need the Indebted Kindness for basically all of our rank and file combatants. Volt Shot is going to be there to chain jolting damage to all of the people on the battlefield. It's going to be feeding our Orb of Light or Orb of Power drops as well. And then you've got the Sundering Origin trait, so anytime we're breaking enemy shields or destroying vehicles, constructs, etc., we're getting faster reload speed. Faster reload speed is a big part of maximizing your Volt Shot potential. So I absolutely adore this thing. You gotta get a lead from gold Volt Shot Indebted Kindness. Go grind one. I know people are always asking, like, hey, I want to run this build, but I don't have Indebted Kindness. Is there something I can replace it with? It's like, maybe, kinda. There's some other Volt Shot guns. But my recommendation, quite frankly, is this is a looter. Just go grind the thing. If you have access to the dungeon, get a team together. It's the best advice I can give you for this looter. If you want to maximize your potential, sometimes you're going to have to go and grind the thing. And lastly, in our heavy slot, I'm running the Edge Transit. It's got auto-loading holster, which is really, really nice. I hate reloading heavy weapons. They take forever, and I don't want to use my reload mod, energy slots for my heavy weapon. I'd rather have that applied to my workhorse like the Indebted Kindness. So I'm going to run Spike Grenades with Explosive Light as I'm picking up Orbs of Power. It's overcharging the Edge Transit. It's reloading itself. I can swap to it, and it's ready whenever I need it. So this is what you're going to see me using against a lot of champions, where I'll get the stun, swap to the Edge Transit, never have to worry about, oh crap, I didn't reload it. It's reloaded, and it's overcharged with Explosive Light. Do extra damage to the champion, melt them quickly, and move on. Phenomenal weapon. And that's basically the whole build from top to bottom. Now, let me show you the entire kit in action here in a master difficulty setting. Notice a few things here. First, notice the uptime on both our buffs and our abilities. So you'll see Devour and Amplified almost always active, and when they're not, they're very easy to reactivate. You'll see my Grenade and Class ability energy cooling down lightning fast, so that they are almost always ready before I find myself in need of them. You'll also notice that I'm placing myself right in the middle of the action and I'm not batting an eye. Enemies don't faze me, they don't scare me. And since our workhorse is the Indebted Kindness, which hits hard, we're often interrupting enemy attacks by making them flinch and stutter step like they're always reeling. You'll notice that against large enemies, I can let the Helion turret hit them once, and then I can toss an incinerator snap at them to cause a detonation, an ignition. And I love that I don't actually have tier 10 resilience, but I'm never worried about survivability. Like, I remember being in a raid, me and Hobie got a kick out of this later talking about it, but we were in a raid a while ago and I was using this build and one of my friends inspected me and said, TV, man, you really got to bring that resilience up or you're going to be throwing. And then I literally never died, but we had to wipe a couple times because my friend kept dying. So trust me when I say this build will make you look like a pro PvE player. So I'll probably go ahead and cut the commentary here and show a little more gameplay of the build in action with the gameplay volume up so you can really get the full experience and hear the buffs and the abilities kicking in. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by leaving a like on it, as that's the best free way to support the content here on YouTube. And let me know in the comments section if you'd like to see more PvE-oriented content from me in the future. Hey, don't forget to check out the link to HelloFresh in the description and pinned comment, as that is a massive help to the channel as well when they see traffic come in to their website through my content. Thanks again so much for your support, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. I'm going in. Vanguard's in, so someone else is dissecting. Yep, this has been the way it's gone tonight. I'm double squares, by the way, so can I just divvy these up now? I'm just gonna go and divvy them up. Alright, I'm sending my squares over now, so you can have ogres. Heads up. Es tiempo. Okay, ghosting. I got my shapes. I'm ready to leave.